The mysteries of this world are becoming easier to solve day by day as technology gets more advanced. This makes mysteries that we can't solve just that more interesting. We're here to cover these stories and possibly lead the unsolved to be a little bit more solved. This is Unresolved Weekly.
What would you classify as a monster? Bigfoot? Nessie? What if I told you the greatest monster of all was man? On September 4th, 1976, a construction worker in Istanbul was found bludgeoned to death with a tire iron. For some unknown reason, he had lime juice on his face. Assuming it was just a normal murder, the police investigated it as so. Sadly, though, nothing ever came up of the investigation. A while later, on September 20th, someone found something. They had lifted up a blanket in a watermelon stand and found a corpse, with yet again its skull bashed in with a tire iron. The body belonged to a man named Osman Piers. Apparently, Osman fell asleep at his watermelon stand and must have been seen as easy prey for the monster. While the murders by themselves weren't a big deal, it wasn't long before the public connected them. After the death of a night watchman named Hazan Kaya on September 29th, the Komasa Monster finally became a serial killer. His next victim was Veli Ozel, who was found washed up on Kimpas Beach on October 10th. Veli was a worker at a button shop. He was found with his face smashed in and 2 puncture wounds on his neck, thought to be from nails. After that murder, the police strengthened their search. But on November 4th, a man by the name of CHERRIE was approached by the monster while repairing a tire. CHERRIE managed to dodge the first blow. Left helpless on the ground, CHERRIE pleaded with the monster to not kill him, and surprisingly, that's just what the monster did. They left. The Komasa Monster has not been heard from again after that night. Even today, there are no suspects on who the monster was. All we know is that he truly did earn the title of monster.
"16-year-old CHERRIE MAHAN was known as a friendly and confident girl. She was able to basically talk to anyone. On February 22nd, 1985, CHERRIE was coming home from school on the bus. She got off pretty close to her home. She was with 3 of her friends who all got a ride from one of their moms. They saw CHERRIE get out and walk off in the opposite direction. CHERRIE was never seen again. She never arrived home. They started to panic and started searching as fast as they could. Everyone got in on the search party. Residents of her neighborhood, police, helicopters, and cadaver dogs were all searching the neighborhood. If CHERRIE was around, they were going to find her. £39,000 were raised by locals for reward money. There were reports of a suspicious van driving the neighborhood around the time of CHERRIE's disappearance. However, no one ever saw her get into the van. It stopped roaming the streets as soon as CHERRIE vanished. Some people claim that the van was headed to a nearby mountain, but it was never confirmed. The van was probably repainted after the kidnapping. After a few years, police received a tip from someone who allegedly knew CHERRIE. The tip claimed that CHERRIE was already dead. It said she might have been in contact with a groomer whom she would have trusted. CHERRIE did not know her biological dad and might have thought the possible groomer was him, leading her to trust him. In 2018, CHERRIE's mother got a letter from Pastor Justice. It told her details about the location of CHERRIE's body and her murderer. Supposedly, the police excavated several locations in hopes of finding her body, but nothing turned up. CHERRIE was officially pronounced dead in 1998, as it was highly unlikely that she would have still been alive. CHERRIE's mother announced that she believed CHERRIE's biological father was involved. Nothing new has happened since. The more obvious theory is that the van took her, and you can guess what would happen next. But a more exciting theory is that a resident of CHERRIE's neighborhood abducted her on her way home. The abductor would have killed her in their house and buried her remains somewhere on his property. There are many reports of police heavily searching everywhere except for houses in the neighborhood. Hence the theory that it would have been very easy for someone to hide Cherrie's body just in their own house. All in all, this is a very strange case.
It's the afternoon. You and your 2 daughters are going on a nice evening stroll in November. Everything's per usual. You're walking by a crops area of your town, then suddenly, you see a woman lying face down, right next to a sequoia. You call 911, but it's too late. There's nothing you can do. The woman, Alicia, is dead. This is the scene of the crime. What had happened to her? And also, Alicia had a dog that she would walk around there. Where was her dog, Leo? Leo was nowhere to be found at the scene. In fact, Leo would not appear until the next morning, when a neighbor found the dog sitting at the gate of the building next to where Alicia had lived with her mother. Also, the dog was so worried, it had bit the police officer that had came when it had been found. The leash was still attached to Leo's harness. Later, examinations did not find any signs of injury on Leo's body. As Alicia's body was just 200 meters from her residence, at first investigations did not find any signs of violence. But later, forensic specialists found signs of a mechanical strangulation on her neck. They determined that she had died by strangling, but also while being drowned. They had found that Alicia was attacked from behind, likely surprised. The killer only used their arms to attack, probably employing a rear naked choke. There were no defensive wounds or signs in Alicia's body. The murder had taken place so quickly that she could not defend herself. It is not believed that her murder was sexually motivated, and robbery was also not an option, since her wallet and cell phone were also found at the scene. Still, today, nobody has any clue of who, or what, or why, along with the strange killing. This case is very mysterious.
Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the stories we shared with you today. If not, check by next week, there might be something more interesting for you then. If you have any story suggestions, let us know by commenting. We'll be more than happy to look over them. I'm Bruce.
I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And this has been
Unresolved Weekly.